Hello and welcome back to the Grounded in Simplicity podcast. I am Bonnie from The Not So Modern Housewife, and I am joined by my good friend Danielle from The Rustic Elk, and we are here to help moms find joy in being less busy. We have been off for like a month and a half, so welcome back. Life happened. Let's see. So Danielle had surgery on her foot, and we opted out of doing any episodes while she was on Vicodin. And then let's see. My dog needed emergency surgery. My air conditioner went out. My refrigerator went out. Oh, and then don't forget, my dog tried to swallow the hamster. And then, we had to replace the dishwasher. I still have no air conditioner.
So I had surgery and Bonnie's life went to hell.
And Bonnie's life went to hell. Because I also lost access to Kitchen Botanicals and my email. So fantastic month. That's what's been happening over here.
Well, but it was a new month. It's a new month now. The new month is almost over, though.
I was like, it's almost September.
But half the crap you just said happened in July.
Yeah, last week of July. Well, it's taken me this long to like try to get my head back above water. But I mean, we almost have Kitchen Botanical. I mean, technically Kitchen Botanicals is live, but we almost have everything back up and running over on WordPress. And it might actually turn out to be a blessing in disguise, as long as I survive the stress of it. So, and we also don't want to forget that my doctor might be changing up my diagnosis and my meds for my stress-related eczema. Anyway,
so it's been eventful. My foot still isn't better, so don't ask.
Well, I mean, it's not as swollen. It's not better. I'm sorry. It still feels like someone stabbing you even when you're sitting in a chair.
Well, he got rid of that pain.
That's good.
But now I can't walk because it feels like my ankle is broken. Like every time I try to take a step.
Have you talked to your doctor about this? I mean, that might be the first step.
Well, I did mention it to him when I went, and he's like, "Oh, it'll go away."
That's not super helpful.
No, it's not. And, the back of my heel, I'm pretty sure I've got some Achilles tendonitis going on. And I think that's from being in that boot for so long. Whatever
happens. Well, and that's what's interesting with the doctor wanting to change my diagnosis. So we've been treating my skin for eczema for like 4 years now. Yeah, because it started when Simon was 1. He just turned 5. So it's literally we've been treating this for 4 years. A couple years even before I had Simon, I started getting really bad tendonitis in my hands. And so, I went through medication for that and physical therapy and everything. And now they're thinking it is psoriasis, which could have actually been the pain in my hands. It may have never been tendonitis, which will be interesting because if this medication works, can I go back to milking my goats? Or do I still
This is where you go with this.
Obviously.
Not, I'll feel better and I won't have,
as long as I don't use my hands, I feel better.
These things. Just, I wonder if I can milk my goats.
Well, and I mean, the medicine I've been on has been, for the most part, controlling it. It's just that I still get flare-ups. My foot is a hot mess. And my nails, while they have grown back, still, like those 4 that I almost lost, are still like pitted and they look funky. Like they just don't look like my regular nails. So do they use the medicine that you were on for psoriasis, or do they only use it for eczema? It's only for eczema because it only targets.
How would it clear up?
Because it's targeting the inflammation. This is not where we were supposed to be going with this episode.
I'm getting ready to segue into what we're talking about.
All right. So I was on Dupixent. And so it specifically targets 2 different proteins that cause the inflammation that cause the eczema symptoms.
Okay.
Those same proteins also are what cause nasal polyps and asthma, or the symptoms of nasal polyps.
Right, because I've seen commercials for Dupixent for asthma.
So it's controlling the inflammation in the skin. So it's controlling the symptoms of the psoriasis.
But they don't use that. They use something different because why? What does the other medicine do that doesn't do?
So the one that's for psoriasis is more of a broad spectrum biologic, which means that it will have a greater impact on reducing my immune system.
Oh, okay.
So yes, there are negatives to that. There's a reason why they wanted to try the Dupixent first.
They've been doing it for like 2 or 3 years now. I remember when you went on it.
Right. It's been like a year and a half.
Is that all?
Not to mention my arms still itch really bad, but yeah. So
do you get plaques though? Like, don't people with psoriasis get plaques? Because I worked with a woman and she got these like real gnarly plaques on her arms.
Not like I've never gotten really bad, but when I started losing my fingernails, they were like, that looks like psoriasis. And they did a biopsy then.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. But the biopsy came back atopic dermatitis. But they're like, it's very possible that they just grabbed the wrong cells. I mean, or, and it's one of those things, it could be both at the same time. There's nothing
I love
saying.
Medical science.
Isn't it fun? Biology's just awesome. This is why I preferred chemistry.
I went to school for biology and pre-med, so stuff fascinates me.
I took a lot of biology because I was gonna do pre-veterinary science, but I still I've always been math oriented, so chemistry made more sense to me. Biology, it's like there's just too many variables and too much memorization.
See, I like biology and I hate all the formulas and stuff that's involved with chemistry and physics. I like the formulas. Which segues into talking about authenticity.
We're talking about math? Oh.
No, we're talking about authenticity.
All right, so I'm going to talk about the inherent problem with talking about anything homestead related on the internet. You get a lot of people that want to gatekeep this lifestyle. And so if you're not doing things 100% the way they think it should be done, then you're not XYZ. You're like, if you're not 100% self-sufficient and 100% organic and 100% blah, 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 then you're not a homesteader, or you're doing it wrong or whatever. Right. And then comes the issue with anything animal related on the internet. And you cannot even share a picture unless the animal is living inside and wearing a costume, because you're abusing your animal, you're neglecting your animal. You're someone is going to find something wrong with how you're living your life and how you're doing your thing.
Well, that just requires thick skin, but yeah.
Well, it does. It does. But at the same time, there are a lot of content creators out there that have really ruined the whole niche or genre or whatever of homesteading, because they've put in people's minds that livestock are pets. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be taking good care of our animals, but they take things one step beyond. And now our livestock are pets, and they need air conditioners and rugs, and they need to come in the house and wear diapers. And I mean, it's
we've romanticized it.
Well, right. Yeah. And it's completely unrealistic for most people. It's not even that's not why I got into any of this. And I mean, I know you've gotten attacked for talking about, culling hens that don't produce anymore, or butchering animals for meat or whatever.
I got attacked and told that they were going to put me in their freezer like I put meat in mine. So
right.
I'm like, well, it's organic.
I just got a comment on YouTube this morning that I've already deleted. So if anyone tries to go out there and find it, you're not going to find it. Because I delete these on a regular basis. But I have a video about how to tattoo rabbit ears. Okay. When you have a dozen Californians and they all look the same, if you don't have a number in their ear, you can't tell them apart. B, you can't show your rabbits unless they have a number in their ear. Like, they have to have identification.
Oh.
And so I have a video on how to tattoo rabbit ears. And I use a clamp, because to me, it's a whole lot faster to do the clamp than try to sit there and write with the tattoo pen.
Right.
Not to mention, my handwriting isn't that good and it would look like a hot mess. And that's what I'm familiar with. That's what I've always done. I have figured out a way to do it as quickly and painlessly as possible. Yada, yada, yada. And yet I get all of these comments about how cruel it is and how horrible of a person I am. And then the one this morning was even, you know, assaulting my parenting skills, because my son is in the video and I am teaching him that this is normal. And, you know, and it's like, and how do you be authentic with that when, like, you really do have to kind of protect a part of yourself? And yeah, you got to have thick skin, but at the same time, like, you just, some of these people are crazy. You don't know what line they will cross.
Oh, I know. I've thought a lot about that before I even started a blog. Like, I almost wanted to be like some anonymous nobody, because, you know, I don't want to put myself, it's not that I don't want to be in the quote unquote public eye, but at the same time, the internet is a vast place, and literally anyone around the entire world can see me, know what I look like, know what I sound like, know my mannerisms and how I speak, and all these different creepy ass things, if you ask me. and I didn't know if I even wanted to put all that out there, because I'm like, I don't know if I want people to know anything about me. Like, you know, they know where I live. They don't know have my address, thank God, but, you know, they know where I live, and, you know, that I have animals, and, like, you know, they know what my kids look like at this point in my life. And I didn't know if I was comfortable with all of that. And so it's, yes, I think you do kind of have to protect a part of yourself, but at the same time, I feel like so many people, especially in this niche, are so inauthentic.
Well, yeah.
And there is a lot of that too. Like tidbits of, you know, the best parts, or the parts that they don't feel like are going to ruffle feathers. And I feel like at this point, you have to ruffle some feathers, because if you don't, and you don't show people how to tattoo the rabbit's ears, or, you know, butcher the chicken, or whatever it is that makes, you know, people uncomfortable because we're so detached from our food, then you're doing yourself, your children, and your audience a disservice, because who's going to show them how to do that stuff?
Right. Yeah. And it's tough, because with big tech, you know, censoring so much, like, we do walk a fine line. Because, like, I have yet to put any butchering videos out, because I'm worried that it's going to get flagged and then my whole YouTube channel is going to go down. You know, I mean, and even something as simple as, like, castrating piglets. Like, and I mean, I learned how to do it by watching YouTube videos, but that's no guarantee that, you know, I couldn't lose my channel over it. So yeah, there's little things like that.
Or like just letting goats, because that's a big controversy. And
yeah. And there is, like, I want to keep a part of myself and my life private. And I think that, you know, we talk about, like, how, you know, we want to help moms and other women kind of shake off that feeling of needing to conform to society. And a lot of our society right now just thinks that they're entitled to, like, every aspect of your life, and to know every little thing. And it's like, no, you don't have a right to that. That's mine, and I'm going to keep that mine. And so I think that it kind of becomes about holding boundaries. And, you know, yeah, we're going to make some people angry while we do that, but that's more of a reflection on them than it is about us.
But I think it's hard in our world to figure out, and I'm not just talking about us as, you know, bloggers or influencers or, you know, what have you. I'm just in general. I think it's very, very difficult for you to feel comfortable being whoever you are, because, like you said, everything, you know, you feel like you have to conform and be whoever somebody else says that you're supposed to be.
Right.
Like, you have to, you know, like, we shouldn't butcher animals. We should all be vegan, or, you know, it's all become this, you know, like, taboo topic for you to actually be comfortable in your own skin, because you're always, I mean, everyone's online and everyone's posting something, and that may or may not be public, and it may only be visible to people in their inner circle. But at the same time, I know, like, even for like my private personal pages, I think before I post.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the people that are on there are just my inner circle of family and friends, I still have to think about what other people are going to think about it instead of just posting it. Or, and then you think about people who feel uncomfortable even doing X, Y, or Z because somebody's going to find out through the internet that they did X, Y, or Z. Not that that thing was illegal or bad. It's not what's expected of them. And so how do you be who you feel like you're meant to be without, because life's too short to be somebody else. But at the same time, it's like everybody wants you to be who they want you to be and their version of you, and not whoever you feel. It makes you feel uncomfortable in your own skin to be who you want to be.
Right. And that's like, I've seen this quote, and I'll probably butcher it, but it's something along the lines of, there's a different version of you living inside of everyone else's head who meets you.
Right.
And so it's, you can't, you, no matter what you do, you can't change that version of you that's inside their head. And so, we were kind of talking, like, before we started recording, talking about family and how, like, they will probably always see me as this 16-year-old who, makes stupid choices. And like, even to this day, there's stuff that I will share in my other groups because I know that, like, the other moms in those groups will get it, that my family won't get it. And so I won't share it to my personal profile because they're not going to understand, and I don't really want to hear their opinions about it.
Right.
But I think too, like, when we think about the people that they want to, like, project this curated image of their life, I think a lot of that does kind of come back to, like, perfectionism and a fixed mindset. Like, they probably have this image in their head of this person they're supposed to be. They don't feel like they're living up to it. So they need to put out these photos that show, it almost gives them like a sense of confidence to be able to show that, hey, for this 3 seconds that I took this photo, I had my shit together.
Right. The whole 3 seconds. But I'm going to portray it as, I had my shit together for hours at least, if not days.
For hours.
Or, I always have it together because.
Right. Well, that's like when I was running around trying to find the tripod for my camera. And I'm like.
Because Bonnie can never be on time. Let's see. We were supposed to start this 2 hours ago, by the way.
I lost track of time. Anyway, it'll be worth it in the end. I promise. I'm decided to build another website. Okay. So anyway, aside from that, I'm like tripping over stuff and like trying not to kill myself, just walking from one end of my house to the other. And I'm like, wait a second. We spent the entire weekend cleaning and decluttering and organizing. Like, it's only Wednesday.
I know. And I keep thinking it's Friday and I don't know why.
I keep thinking it's Tuesday. It's like, it can't be this far into the week. It's only like Monday or Tuesday. Right?
I thought yesterday was Friday. So today should be my Saturday. I don't know why. I spent all day yesterday thinking it was Friday.
Probably because
the weekend. And
probably because you went to town yesterday. Probably because you went grocery shopping.
But I don't ever go grocery shopping on Fridays.
But because you just went to Costco like on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
So isn't like grocery shopping usually your weekend thing?
No.
I don't know. I don't know. I can't.
We only go a couple times. Like, we don't go to the grocery that often. Like, once every couple months. So,
what do you do for milk? That's always the thing I run out of.
We pick up milk and fresh bread. But, like, to actually go grocery shopping, we only go every couple months because our freezers are full of meat, and I buy like frozen vegetables and canned goods and stuff like that for side dishes. Right. Plus, right now we actually have some vegetables. So,
there you go.
Barely, but fall's coming early.
I apparently have, not in Florida, I apparently have like 5 pounds of carrots because I accidentally bought too many. So I have to do something with all that other than just feed them all to the guinea pigs.
I peel them and freeze them.
Do you blanch them first?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I do carrots. I don't like snap peas and stuff like that. I just put them in there. Peppers, I'll cut them up and just put them in there.
Yeah, as long as you use them fast enough. Yeah, because that's
you can do the same thing with a carrot, but
yeah, like I've done it with beans, but they stayed in the freezer too long, and then they ended up being really tough.
I hate frozen beans.
Yeah, I mean, I like frozen. I like frozen beans better than canned beans. So
see, I prefer canned beans.
Yeah, see, I like to still have a little bit of firmness. I mean, really, I prefer fresh and just like steamed, so they still have like their al dente.
Yeah, I like those, but otherwise, I'd rather they just be canned.
Yeah. Anyway, really, I struggle with talking about anything negative, like when I'm having a tough time, or because I think it goes back to how I was raised, because it was always like you don't talk about the negative stuff in public, like that stays within your four walls, you know?
Right.
And I always want to like have a game plan and know how I'm going to fix it before I like tell anybody about it. And sometimes which is so backwards, because it's like, hey, guess what? If you tell people about it, maybe they can help you figure out how to fix it.
Right.
But that's just not how I was raised. So, you know, it's something I'm trying to get past.
Well, I think we fear judgment because people, especially on the internet, feel incredibly comfortable just, saying whatever comes to them and being as judgmental as they possibly can, because apparently that's acceptable now when it didn't used to be. So,
yeah. Well, yeah. People are more than willing to say stuff over a keyboard that they would never say to a person's face. Yeah. So there is a part of me that doesn't like putting myself in vulnerable positions or being vulnerable. And it's interesting because I think some of that goes back to the military, but also just in general throughout my life, there's always someone that's like, they see you vulnerable and they see it as an opportunity to take advantage or kick you when you're down.
Right.
It's also like I have this idea in my head that I'm supposed to be tough and I'm supposed to be strong. And I have these ideas of what a tough and strong person should be like, how they should act. And they don't have vulnerabilities and they don't have weaknesses and they don't screw up and do things wrong. And
well, but none of us are perfect.
I mean, I know realistically. I mean,
right.
You hear story after story of these people who they only found success after failing so many times. But, it doesn't make failure sting any less.
True. I don't know. I think, I try not to think of it as a failure, just a learning experience and a missed opportunity.
Yeah. Well, I think it's only a missed opportunity if you didn't take it.
Well, I mean a missed opportunity as in
maybe things could have been done better.
Failed.
Well, true.
Because failure is negative.
Right.
And like attracts like. I truly do believe that. So if we're constantly focusing on the negative parts of whatever happened or whatever's going on in our lives, and we don't try to spin it so that it's a more positive view, then you're just going to continue to have negativity.
Yeah, I guess, see, and in my mind, like saying that I missed something, like it feels like it's filled with regret. So it still feels negative to me. Like it's
right.
I know. So, I think that just focusing on the things that went right. And then like right now, what I've been doing is just focusing on the actions I can take to move forward.
Right.
But I have to get like really singular in that focus because there's so many different things that can distract me, like starting new websites.
I sent you that thing yesterday about me. And it said if I wasn't in that phase, and I'm going, how do I get out of it? Because I've been in it for 38 years and it's not gone anywhere.
Yeah. I actually, I wasn't entirely sure how to read that because it's just like single word things.
Well, because it's, here, let me see if I can find it because I don't remember exactly what I sent you.
It was something about Gemini.
It's just telling me these are my traits. So I'm
You need to send me the one for Capricorn.
and high strung and inconsistent. And I'm reading all these different things and I'm like, okay. And then it says, if it doesn't seem to fit you, check it out to find the phase you're in right now. And I'm like, I've been here. How do I get out?
Short attention span. Well, and didn't we, hang on, now you got me wanting to go, where's my stupid astrology thing? Go away. There it is. Because there was something about our moons are in like the same thing, right?
No.
Our moons both in Gemini?
No, my moon's in Pisces.
Oh.
Here, let's see. My moon is Pisces, my Mercury is Gemini, my Venus is Cancer, Mars is Scorpio, Jupiter is Capricorn, Saturn is Scorpio, Uranus is Sagittarius, Neptune is Capricorn, Pluto is Libra, Lilith is Pisces, and End Node and Sun are both Gemini.
Well, I don't know. Because I thought we had something that was the same, and that's why we had so many similarities.
I thought I had something in Capricorn, but all I have is, what do I have in Capricorn? Neptune.
Okay. See, I have Aquarius ascendant, Gemini moon, Virgo is Jupiter, Mars, and Saturn, Libra is Pluto, Scorpio is Uranus, Sagittarius is Neptune and Mercury, which I guess I should actually name these in the houses, not the signs. But anyway, my sun is in Capricorn, and Venus is in Aquarius. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think I actually read half of those backwards, but
you did.
Yeah. I don't know, but apparently there's something about my moon being in Gemini that makes a lot of those traits similar to me.
Oh, your moon is in Gemini?
Yeah.
Well, then that's why.
So yeah, if I look at just the main things, sun is in Capricorn, moon is in Gemini, and ascendant in Aquarius.
Because what is it? Your moon is your inner you.
My inner you?
Yeah, like.
So what's my sun?
The
basic, outer you?
Oh. The basic part of you. And then your moon is who you are inside. So I'm basically a Gemini, but you're innerly a Gemini.
I'm just thinking because my sun is in Capricorn, I'm just a basic bitch.
And for more astrology tips, don't call us.
Don't call us. Unless you want someone to drink with. We will have the wine.
Yeah. Right. Well, I drank Cosmos the other night, and
I remember. And then you were hungover the next day.
I was.
And then, like, earlier when, I felt like the world was crashing down, and so I'm meditating. And I'm in, like, the last 2 minutes of the meditation. And my AirPods were dead, so I have it playing, like, on the speaker on my phone. So any child that, intentionally unlocks my door and then comes into my room to interrupt me can hear the meditation happening on the phone and sees their mother sitting cross-legged with her eyes closed. And yet still insists on asking me for something.
I tried to do meditation in the mornings before I got out of bed. And
I call that sleep.
I discovered that my husband insists on bothering me, waking me up, and telling me he has to go to work. So it doesn't really work out then either.
Yeah.
So I just gave up. Apparently I'm just supposed to be high strung. According to that, I am. It's all good.
I usually need to do like one in the afternoon to kind of like bring the stress back under control. And then I'll do one at bedtime to help me fall asleep.
That's what I call wine. Or Cosmos.
But if you drink too many of them, it keeps you awake. So anyway, do we have any tips for actually, being more authentic?
I think for me, I try to focus on the fact that life is entirely too short to be somebody you're not.
Yeah.
And that it's a lot harder to portray yourself as someone you aren't than to just be whoever in the hell it is you are. And I think we're scared of judgment, especially when everything that we do seems to need to be, we have this like urge to post it online to, because we want to prove that we did something or said something or whatever it is, because it's supposed to be memorable because we posted it on the internet, when I'm thankful that some things were not memorable because we didn't have the internet.
Right. There's that.
But I think that, we have to stop worrying about what everybody thinks and who we're going to offend, because you're never going to please everybody. And the only person that really matters in the end is you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you made somebody else happy. It just matters if you made yourself happy. And if you're not happy pretending to be somebody you're not, which I don't know how you possibly could be, then, what's the point?
Well, and that's the thing, like, people are going to find ways to criticize you, judge you, dislike something that you did. So walking around on eggshells to try to please those people is just going to be wasted energy on people that are like, it's impossible to make everyone like you. Right. And you're going to end up spending all of this energy, and it's just going to be taking away from you, and it's not going to benefit them. It's not going to change their minds. The other way I look at it is, it takes guts to put yourself out there and to, to say the things that we feel need to be said on the internet or in any space.
Right.
And so I see that as me being the voice for the people that don't have the courage or the know-how to put it out there. So I'm speaking for the people who are staying silent. If I'm staying silent, then no one is speaking for those people. And same thing with, everyone talks about it being taboo to censor people in your comments and censor people in your communities, basically because they think everyone else is entitled to their opinions and they should be able to say whatever they want without consequence. But even if they're just attacking me, someone else is going to see that and then feel bad about having the same thought. Not the attack, but like if they're attacking something I said, then someone else is going to take it as an attack because they felt the same way I did. Right. So, if I either address those people or if it's just negative for the sake of being negative, I usually delete and block. So I guess thinking in that way in terms of, speaking up for the people that don't have the voice and the platform, I guess makes me feel a little bit better about like the jerks that come and feel the need to say crap.
I mean, I think it just boils down to we have to stop giving a shit what other people think.
Yeah. Well, and that's like I don't care if I've pissed off a lot of people because I blocked them or deleted their comments. And it's just like I see it as protecting my community and protecting the vibe that I'm trying to create. But
right. You don't need all that negative.
Well, crap. Right. Even on my own profile, like I posted a military joke, and a couple of people that have never served in the military, do not get military humor, took offense to it. So I deleted their comments, and all of a sudden I start getting
and then they take offense to that.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm a bigot, and they had all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, hold on a second. I have always stood by you. I have always defended you. I have always been kind to you. And all of a sudden I'm all of these things because you because I deleted your comment because what you said was completely false.
Right. And it's my page. And if I don't want your crap on my page, then I'll remove it. And if I don't care, then I'll leave it there. But, everybody's always going to have an opinion and something to say. And somebody's always going to be offended by something you say or do, and you just kind of have to just let it roll off your shoulders and move on and just kind of, come out of your own shell and learn to be yourself.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Some of the stuff has been almost comical, but I don't know. At the same time, I don't know. It's just maybe it's this whole entitlement thing.
Oh, don't get me started on entitlement. We'll be here for another hour.
I don't know. I guess I just don't really get where people are coming from.
I think it's because we live in a world where people have been, I think we feel safe because, we can speak, quote unquote, speak our mind. Everybody's always talking about being authentic. And so we should speak our mind, right? And so people feel safe because they can hide behind a keyboard and say whatever they want to. And there's no repercussion for that. The only repercussion is maybe your comment gets removed. But,
right.
And then you get all these keyboard warriors and they all get together and they're like, yeah. And so we feel, I don't know, like it's okay. And like, it's, I don't know. I think a lot of it's just because we live in an era where our connection to other people is all online.
Yeah.
And so it makes us feel like we're in our safe little space and we can say whatever we want. And there's, you know, without fear of repercussion, especially if you're attacking somebody else, because then everybody else jumps on that same keyboard warrior bandwagon. And then you feel justified because everybody else thought that too.
And social media has created so much of this too, because it's this whole, the algorithm only shows you other stuff that you've interacted with.
Right.
So it creates this bubble where like you think that everybody in the world thinks the same way that you do. And now anybody that thinks differently from you is the minority. And
right. Well, because social media is just a big echo chamber, because who are you friends with? Who do you follow? It's going to be the same group of people that feel the same way you do. And if they don't, then they're either A, muted. So that's why you never interact with their posts, or B, you're not friends with them or follow them to begin with, because
right.
we want to feel justified in our opinions. So we, you know, follows on the internet. And so we don't have to interact with those people.
So then when you see something that is different from what you're used to seeing, then like, oh my goodness, they're so wrong. Like, how do they not see it this way when everyone else sees it this way? Well, no, you're forgetting there's a billion other people out there that don't think the same way as you.
At least. But you have like, there's an entire group on Facebook, I did not know this, that for people who hate mothers who have tattoos. Like, this is an actual thing.
I think you told me about this.
And I didn't know about this till the other day. There is an entire Facebook group and with thousands of people in it. And
is that why all of a sudden you were like, that's it, I want a tattoo?
I have a tattoo.
Oh, I don't know.
But yes.
Sorry, Danielle, I haven't seen you naked.
You wouldn't have to see me naked to see it. But that's fine. Anyway. I told you who I was when I was 16 is not who I am today.
Yeah, well, I have always had a fear of commitment. So that really hasn't changed. And so I have never been willing to commit to something long enough to have it permanently stenciled on my body.
Fair enough. No, I want to get a tattoo for my mom.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I would like to get something for the girls. Not like necessarily their names. Just, I got my tattoo when I was in college and probably inebriated because I don't really remember it. And the guy that gave it to me, his name was Cringe, if that tells you anything. So
awesome.
See? My authentic self. I was far less afraid to be whoever I was when I was 18 than I am now 20 years later.
Yeah. Actually,
I didn't have Facebook and Instagram and, you know, thousands of people that are watching me. So I don't ever post anything because it's none of their damn business.
I mean, when I was in high school, I thought I was so cool because I was wearing my dad's flannel shirts and cowboy boots. And the guys that I idolized all wore Carhartts, and they were literally known as the Carhartt boys. Oh, and all of my pictures from senior day, I was wearing a cowboy hat.
My freshman year, if I could find the picture, I looked like I was about 25.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm not that person.
Yeah.
And when I went to college, I got a tattoo. I got my tongue pierced. I got my belly button pierced. I was
rebel without a cause.
I was. I still am in some ways, but
I mean, I rebelled as far as, you know, I joined the Marines.
But see, I didn't want people bossing me around and telling me what to do and how to live my life, so that was not on my list.
Well, that's why I joined the reserves, so they could only boss me around on a part-time basis.
Fair enough.
I don't know. Yeah, it's easy to look back and think of all the things that I wish I would have done differently, but at the same time, I wouldn't be where I am now.
Right. So. And Trevor asked me that the other day. He was like, do you regret? And I'm like, nope, not at all. Because if X, Y, or Z did not happen, or I didn't do it, or whatever, then I wouldn't be who I am today. So,
right.
Like everything happens for a reason. We make choices and decisions that mold us into who we become. And I think we need to, pay better attention and be more of that person that we were meant to become, instead of worrying about who we're going to offend in order to be that person. Because,
right.
I mean, I look online, and to me, there are very, very few truly honest and authentic people online. Like, it's all just curated, and it, if you have any brain cells, that it's not, that's not their life. That's probably not who they are. It's probably, like I'm really not that quiet. I'm quite outspoken, and I'm incredibly sarcastic.
What was it that you thought I was all prim and proper or something like that
before? I did. I don't know why. You just struck me as like this, like goody two shoes that
I don't know.
And I don't know why, because I knew you were in the military. So like that doesn't even, those two things don't really go together.
Yes,
you're a female in the military.
The general public is completely clueless about the type of person that's in the military. So we won't even go there. But no, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's funny because I guess I've always kind of given off that vibe. I mean, like I was telling you earlier, I kind of was that way in high school. So it's not, but again, I was trying so hard to be what everyone else expected me to be.
Right.
And I mean, honestly, like it's probably just been within the last few years that I've just been like, you know what? This is not worth the effort that I am expending. Like you said, life's too short. Like it's too short for fake mother and fake friends, Yep. So it's, I live my life the way that I feel God has called me to live it, And if I'm like, I mean, honestly, who else's opinion even matters? Like if I'm living the life that I feel God has led me to live, then yeah, no one else had opinion. That I'm just repeating myself at this point. I have no
I think you had too many beers.
I haven't even had one. No, yeah, I don't know. It's just,
well, like I said earlier, no, really, I mean, yeah, you can say God's opinion matters, but I feel like God's opinion is our opinion. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, like he gives that weight on to you, or that, like, I mean, how do you even explain it? Like, you feel like a pressure on you to let go of certain things that don't matter and focus on certain things. Right. And it's like I've always felt like we were called to be stewards of God's creation. And so it is on us to take care of the earth and take care of ourselves, our bodies, take care of other people.
And we're doing a bang up job.
And, and really like to have I feel called to have a lot of compassion and empathy. Of course, the irony to that is I have a lot more compassion and empathy for people I've never met. Because the people I know are generally not trying to be better people. But so it's hard, it's kind of hard to have compassion for anyway. But no, it's just, that's just, I don't know. I guess deep down, that's who I am.
Right.
Now, there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to be like, how can you say that you are caring for animals when you're eating them? Well, guess what? I'm giving them the best life possible before, because, hey, guess what? God called us to eat them too. So, I'm sure that's going to sound super great on just an audio feed. That's it. Bonnie's gone full crazy.
I feel like we just have to, right. We have to just answer that call and be whoever it is that we were meant to be. And like I said, it's just we have to stop worrying about what other people think, because even if you are the perfect version of you in their mind, you're still going to do something, and walking around on eggshells isn't fun, and life's short. And, we weren't meant to be whoever Mojo said that we were supposed to be. We were meant to be whoever we were meant to be.
Right.
And so you have to stop worrying about what somebody else thinks.
It's your life.
Right.
Make the decisions for your life. Or if you're married, you and your spouse, you make the decisions for your life. And no one else gets to make those decisions, because at the end of the day, no one else is living that life. They may have opinions about your decisions, and they may think you're making the wrong decisions, but let them. Let them think that.
Right. Because the only person it's going to affect is them. It's not going to affect you, because you really shouldn't care what they think.
Yeah. Well, and it's, again, it comes back to holding that boundary. You say, no, I've made this decision. You stand by that decision. Right. There's a lot of people that have made decisions that I haven't necessarily agreed with, but I respect that they stood by their decisions.
Right.
They didn't waffle. I mean, granted, you may make a decision, take action on it, and then realize it was the wrong decision and then make a different decision.
My daughter is very much her authentic self.
Yes.
Very much.
So is mine.
So I guess, maybe, and that's another thing. I think we can all take lessons from our kids, because instead of trying to, and I don't want to say mold them into who they are, because, obviously that's a part of what we're supposed to do as parents. But at the same time, we kind of have to, let them lead the way, because they're meant to be whoever they're meant to be. And that's not necessarily our version of that.
Right. Well, and they don't have the baggage we have. They don't have the years of just being smashed into the dust.
I'm ready to just lock that all up and hope it just goes away.
So, but yeah, I see that a lot with my kids. And I mean, I think that we can kind of see it more because they've been homeschooled, because they haven't been exposed to that negative mindset as much as the public school kids have.
Right.
And so they can kind of be more in touch with themselves. I mean, I'm not saying now, granted, my 12-year-old thinks he's got all the answers, but
just wait till he's 20.
But I will still listen to what he has to say about a lot of things, because he does often make good points about things. And he is more than willing to point out the ways that me and my husband need to improve.
But his opinion doesn't matter, because you're the parent, so.
Well, this is also a point that I make to him on a regular basis. But sometimes he makes some valid points. I just don't always let him know that they're valid points, because then I'll never hear the end of it.
Fair enough.
So, fair enough. All right. Well, I think that is it for today. We are out of time. But basically, yeah, we're going to be back on schedule. And
schedule. My authentic self has no schedule. And obviously yours doesn't.
And that is one area where we're going to fake it till we make it. Even if we have to schedule out a couple weeks ahead of time, so that no, but yeah. So basically, don't be afraid to speak your opinion, speak your mind, but also don't be afraid.
Be you.
And just be you. But also don't feel like you have to put your whole self out there.
Right.
Keep some back for yourself. No one is entitled to your life. And, no one needs to have an open invitation to your front door. All right. Have a good one. We will catch you next time. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Grounded in Simplicity podcast. If we were able to help you in any way, please share this episode with a friend, and also leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. You can also join us over on Patreon at Grounded in Simplicity and help to support this podcast, as well as become a patron and get a behind-the-scenes look at the creation of our podcast and even have some input on future episodes.